Hi to my beautiful Math Core family. How are you today? I hope everything is well. Well, I want to welcome you back to the Operations on the Real Numbers course. Today is lesson number 15, and that's fractions of numbers, representing and computing. Now, before we go too far into that lesson, let's do a quick flashback. Remember back in the beginning, we told you guys that there are two main operations on the real numbers. Those two are addition and multiplication. Now, we knocked out addition and we talked about that in depth, but we also talked a little bit about multiplication. Well, kind of like a lot, right? We talked about multiplying fractions, we've multiplied integers, we've even multiplied mixed numbers and gotten rid of those guys because we don't mess with them, right? We convert them. And then we went on to talk about the applications of multiplication. You know, those real world problems. Well, I'm going to break it to you like this. There's still so much more that comes with multiplication. And we're going to talk some more about that today. But before we get into it, I want to, take this moment to tell you we have a special word from our sponsors at the Math Core News Network Studios. So I'll talk to you after these messages.
Yeah. And so basically, that's how you make a rocket ship. Simple, isn't it? But here's something that's not so simple. If you're working long hours online, you're going to need a strong signal. And what if that signal goes out? Chances are, it's going to happen. That's why I'm here. After all, I'm Wi-Fi down again. So, here's what's going to happen. I want to give you several troubleshooting tips that you can use to solve this problem. Here's the first one. You're going to want to first try this. Now listen carefully. You're going to go to settings on your laptop or your computer. What you're going to do is take that little mouse thingy, whatever they call it. I call it a mouse. And it's going to move the arrow. Wherever the mouse goes, the arrow goes. They're synchronous. Okay, it's synchronous. They happen at the same time. Okay, we talked about that. Self-explanatory. Go to settings. When you click settings, you're going to be giving a series of choices. You're going to want to go to the Wi-Fi section. See? Very simple. You go to the Wi-Fi section or the choice. You click it. And you're going to check to see if your signal is either on or off. If you don't have a signal, it's probably off. No signal, it's off. So, what do? You simply hover over the settings, Wi-Fi signal on or off, and you're going to turn the signal on. Turn the signal on. From off to on. And guess what? That's probably not going to solve your problem. And if that happens, don't worry. Just try something else. That's all I got today, guys. I'm Wi-Fi down again. And remember, if your signal is strong, just wait a little while. It'll be down again soon.
And welcome back. I hope you found that message very informative. Yeah. So, like I said, let's jump right into it. We're talking about multiplication, and today we're going to talk about fractions of numbers. Let's jump right into it. So, the first thing you need to know is that fractions of numbers, like I said, is all about multiplication. I'm going to jump right into the examples and you'll see what I mean. So write that down in your notes. Fractions of numbers is all about multiplication. All right, here's our first example. And it reads, a person bought 8 bottles of soda. Half of the 8 were diet. What's half of 8? So let's get our minds to thinking. What is half of 8? And again, we're talking about bottles of soda. But where I'm from, we call soda pop. And some people call it soda pop. But yes, let's think about it. Half of them are diet. So we're going to do a representation, but we're going to go back to how we used to do it. And that's by making number bars. Can somebody give it up for number bars? Yes. So how many bars do we need to represent these pops or these sodas? We're going to need 8 of them, okay? So here are our 8 number bars, okay? And now the way we have to look at it is, what is half of 8? And we know what half really means. That really means like split it up into 2 equal parts, right? So we have to have equal amounts in each part. And it has to be like even, So if that's the case, if we were to circle the even parts, then this is what it would look like. Boom. There are our 2 circles. So we end up having like 4 in each group, right? But in this case, they're only saying they want 1/2. So what's 1/2 of 8? Well, if we were to shade in that 1 circle area, then we end up with 4 inside that one circle. So we can conclude that 1/2 of 8 is 4. Beautiful. Now let's try another example. And another real world application at that. So in this case, there are 6 puppies in the litter. 1/3 of them are brown. How many are brown? So we're going to draw another picture using our number bars to represent the amount of puppies that we had. And again, we're looking for 1/3 of 6, right? So here are our 6 puppies, or 6 number bars, right? But then again, since they said we have to split them into equal groups, then that means thirds are just 3 equal groups, right? So let's go ahead and split these number bars into 3 equal groups. Boom! We end up with 2 in each group. Now we have to go in and shade in one of those groups, and we end up with, boom! How many puppies was that, guys? We can see from our illustration that 1/3 of 6, that is just 2. It's 2. Boom. That was beautiful. You guys are doing so well. I think that you guys can do one more. What do you think? But always make sure that you answer the question. 2 of the puppies are brown. Good. Now let's go on to another example. Here we go. In a class of 15 students, 4/5 of the 15 got an A on their last test. What's 4/5 of 15? Now, in this question, again, they said 4/5 of 15. Now we're going to do it the same way. We're going to represent it using our number bars. There they are, 15 whole number bars. And if we look at that fraction, 4/5, now 4/5 of 15, all we have to do is split it into 5 equal parts, because that's what fifths means, like 5 equal parts. So if we were to circle groups, then how many will we have in each group? Let's find out. There we have it. Our equal parts, fifths, there are 3 in each group, okay? So now let's go back, and it says 4/5 of 15. So if we were to go in and to shade in 4 of those circled groups, we end up with 3, 6, 9, 12. That means that 4/5 of 15 is 12. Wow. But again, considering that this is a real world application, you always make sure you answer the question. What's 4/5 of 15? 4/5 of 15 is 12. Okay? Great job. Wonderful. But I'm not sure if anyone started to catch on. Maybe you saw it. Maybe you caught on that there's something else that's going on here. I told you at the beginning that this of stuff, this fractions of numbers stuff we speak of, it's really about multiplication. And when I say that, I mean like it's all about multiplication. Check this out and write this down, because this here is a fact that's going to take us the rest of the way. And it says, to find a fraction of a number, of means times. Wow. Can you believe that? Of means times. So that's basically saying this whole time we've really been multiplying. Let's see if you can see it if we just go straight with it without the number bars. Let's cut to the chase and let's do it. 2/3 of 12. Now, if we replace that word of with times, that means 2/3 times 12. 2/3 times 12, right? Beautiful. And we know how to multiply things like this. First of all, that 12, we're going to have to change that to a fraction. We know that that whole number is 12. It's really 12 over 1. So we have 2/3 times 12 over 1. And how do we multiply fractions? Straight across. So let's go ahead and do that. 2 times 12 is 24. 3 times 1 is 3. We end up with 24/3. Wonderful. And you can always convert that, because 3 goes into 24 8 times. So our final answer is just 8. Therefore, 2/3 of 12 equals 8. Wow. Give yourself a hand. Let's move on to another one just like that. Because now that I know that, of really means times, we can just keep rolling with this. Let's try it again. This time a real world application. Here we go. A person wants to run 11 miles. If he's already run 3/4 of the miles, how far has he run so far? Now we said he's run 3/4 of the miles. If y'all were to like put that into like a mathematical statement, we'd be saying, you got it, that's 3/4 of 11, right? Now let's use our new knowledge, and we know that of means times. We can substitute that word in, and now we can say 3/4 times 11. We're in the same place as we were before. So now we can go ahead and change that 11 to 11 over 1 because we know that's the fraction form, and we really have 3/4 times 11 over 1. How do we multiply? Straight across. So let's go ahead and do that. Multiply it straight across. 3 times 11 equals 33. 4 times 1 equals 4. We end up with 33/4. But we can always go back and convert it into a mixed number by dividing. And if you were to do that, you're going to end up with 8 1/4. Beautiful. I can't believe this. Of means times. It just blows my mind. I tell you. If he's already run 3/4 of the miles, how far has he run so far? So the question is, family, as he's running and running and running, what is 3/4 of 11 miles? And we always want to answer the question in English. He has run 8 1/4 miles so far. So that's just an emphasis that whenever we are given these real world problems, you want to give them a real world answer in English. He's run 8 1/4 miles so far. Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, we're going to try one more. All right. Now this one, I really, really love this one because I love to eat. Okay. We're going to talk about restaurants. So at a restaurant, a person wanted to leave an 18% tip for a dinner that costs $20. What is 18% of $20? Now that is a good tip. It's always good to tip your waiter or your waitress, okay? So let's go ahead and let's find out, how do we do this 18% of $20? Well, one indication, now that we know, is that 18% of, that really means 18% or something like times, because of means times, right? But we're not going to multiply using the percent sign. We know better, right? What does the word percent mean? Yes, percent means hundredth. So therefore, we're really talking about 18 hundredths, right? So we could either write it as a fraction, 18 hundredths, or we can write it as a decimal. But for this purpose, we're going to go ahead with the decimal form. So we're going to say 0.18 or 18 hundredths times 20. Now, I know you guys remember how to multiply decimals. That's easy because we can multiply anything times anything. True that? True that. So let's go ahead and set it up, and here's how it's going to look. 0.18 times 20. Now y'all ready? Take out your handy dandy notebook, and let's get our multiplication on. Here we go. So I'm going to choose the color blue because we're in like this blue theme right now. So 0 times 8, that's 0. 0 times 1 is also 0. Now I'm going to put in my placeholder here. 2 times 8 is 16. I'm going to carry my 1. 2 times 1 is 2. Plus 1, that's 3. And now let's add everything together. We end up with 360. 360, right? But the question is, and again, my favorite question, where do we place the decimal point? So remember, we always have to go back to the question in this case being 0.18 times 20, and we have to count the amount of numbers behind the decimal in our question. So let's go through and underline them. I see 1, 2. So that's 2 places behind the decimal in our question. So if that's the case, there should be 2 numbers behind the decimal in our answer as well. Therefore, our decimal place goes right there, and you get 3.60. In other words, 3 and 60 hundredths. But again, we're talking about a tip here, right? So we're really talking about money. So what that really is $3.60. That's the tip on this this $20 meal, okay? Wonderful. So we always want to go again and make sure that we're answering these real world questions in English. So the question is, what is 18% of $20? Well, to answer your question, mon ami, 18% of $20 is $3.60. Wonderful. Okay, now, guys, you guys are just amazing. Like, I can't even describe how amazing you are. And I want you to keep up the amazing, amazing, amazing work. Great work today, everybody. I'm going to see you guys on tomorrow with lesson number 16, but I hope you gained a lot from today's lesson 15, fractions of numbers, representing and computing. Have a wonderful day, and I'm going to see you on tomorrow. Bye.